Hello anatomy colleagues, this is Dr. Alsup again, and in this video we will discuss the movements that can occur at synovial joints. And this discussion will lead into our next video, which will talk about the types of synovial joints. And one of the main things we'll talk about there are what types of movements can occur. So they all kind of come together and intermingle in terms of topics of discussion. So the focus of this discussion will be the angular movements for the most part, or causing an increase or decrease in the angle between articulating bones. And we will spend some time also discussing rotation, which has a bone rotating along its longitudinal axis. But before we get into these different types of movements, it's important we understand what anatomical position is. And this is a key concept in anatomy as a whole. Anatomical position is the standard position for reference for any description of movement, or also importantly, any description of anatomical structures. So in thinking of anatomical position, it becomes easier to visualize and organize structures without also having to factor in different movements, or if the individual is lying down on their back or on their stomach, you can always come back to anatomical positions in your descriptions. In anatomical position, an individual is standing and facing the observer like we have in this individual right here. So eyes are facing forward. The feet are also facing directly forward and flat on the ground. And it's the upper limbs that may seem a little counterintuitive. The upper limbs are going to be to the side, but key here is that the palms of the hand are facing forward or anteriorly, which is not a particularly natural stance, right? We don't typically stand like that. But the reason for this position is that in this particular position with the palms facing forward, the bones of the forearm, or the radius and the ulna, are parallel to one another. So they're not crossing over one another like you would have if, say, the palms were facing towards the posterior portion or the back. So all movements and directional terms we will use throughout this course, so not just in the musculoskeletal section, will be based around this anatomical position. So spend some time making sure you understand this. I cannot reiterate enough how this particular position, or this particular reference point, will come out throughout the entirety of this course. Here's another area or another slide that I would also spend a bit of time on making sure you understand. And part of our understanding of these movements and some of our other descriptions in different parts of the course will be understanding the planes of one's body. And these planes are imaginary planes, as in this is something that we use for description purposes, and the planes will intersect the body when it is in anatomical position. So let's review these. The median plane, which I am drawing an arrow to, is a vertical plane, and it will pass longitudinally through the body's midline. So the median plane is exactly what it sounds like. It is running right down the middle of the body, and it will divide the body into right and left halves. Sagittal planes, which you can see a sagittal plane being drawn right here. Sagittal planes are similar in that they are vertical planes as well. They will pass through the body as well, but these will be parallel to the median plane. So sometimes that median plane is referred to as the median sagittal plane, but sagittal plane can be kind of on any side on either side of the median plane, running parallel to the median plane. The frontal or the coronal plane, which we can see here, is going to run also vertically, and it will pass through the body at kind of right angles to the median plane, but it will divide the body into anterior and posterior parts, or anterior kind of being towards the front and posterior being towards the back. And lastly, transverse planes or horizontal planes will pass through the body perpendicular to any of the vertical planes. So it will divide the body into superior and inferior portions. So superior is towards the head, inferior, think towards the feet. Okay, so we needed to understand these concepts before even understanding these concepts of these planes before really understanding some of the movements that we're about to discuss. And like I said, this slide as well as this past slide right here is really these two are foundational concepts that will come out throughout the course. So let's start with one of the more intuitive, or two of the more intuitive movements that can occur at synovial joints, and these are called flexion and extension, and these will occur in a sagittal plane. So sagittal plane. Now, flexion means to bend. It literally means to bend, and this will cause a decrease in an angle between the articulating bones. Okay, so you can see flexion here. Flexion, think about putting your chin towards your chest. You can flex the hip. And flexion typically occurs in an anterior direction, but not always, which we will see with the knee joint. Extension is kind of the opposite motion. This will be an increase in the angle between articulating bones. And often you will have a joint returning to anatomical position after being flexed with extension. Now, extension can extend, see, I use that twice there. So extension can extend past anatomical position, even further increasing the angle between the bones. And this can be done purposefully and safely with many joints. If you think about being in an anatomical position and then kind of tilting your head backwards, you can do that, and you can do it safely. That's hyperextension. But hyperextension can be a type of movement that is not meant to happen, like in the knee or in the hip joint. A little hyperextension is allowed, but too much can be damaging. And oftentimes the arrangement of muscles and ligaments really help to reduce the amount of hyperextension possible. Lateral flexion or lateral bending, which is often referred to as, does not occur in the sagittal plane as most flexion and extension does. It will occur in the frontal or coronal plane. And this occurs at the intervertebral joints and will allow you to move your trunk to one side or the other. The paired actions of abduction and adduction also occur in the frontal or coronal plane. And you may hear me say abduction or adduction just because sometimes my enunciation leaves something to be desired. So sometimes I really try to get my point across and accentuate the AB or the AD. All right. And you can always think of adduction as adding back to or back towards the body. So abduction or abduction is typically a movement away from the midline or away from the body. And adduction, as mentioned, is movement back towards the midline and sometimes even past the midline. So you can think about your upper limb. It can head back towards anatomical position in the midline. It can even go a little bit further. The midline of the body is not used as a point of reference for the digits of the hands and the feet, but we will discuss those specifics when we talk about those specific joints. Now, if a joint can flex, extend, abduct, and adduct, that joint can also circumduct, which is a complex angular movement that involves these actions that I just discussed. And what happens with circumduction is the distal end of the body will move in a circular motion. So if a particular joint is capable of these 4 types of movement, it is also capable of circumduction. Lastly, let's finish our discussion of movements with rotation. And rotation is typically the most difficult of the actions to conceptualize. Rotation occurs when a bone will revolve around its own longitudinal axis. I think one of the easiest to conceptualize forms of rotation is turning your head from side to side as if you are vigorously saying no to something. So think about turning your head from side to side. That is a form of rotation. But when we're talking in terms of the limbs, rotation is defined relative to the bone's midline, and we use the terms medial and lateral rotation. Medial, sometimes referred to as internal rotation, is the movement that occurs when the anterior surface of a bone is turned towards the midline. So think that anterior surface will head that way. Whereas with lateral or external rotation, the anterior surface will rotate away from the midline or more laterally. There are other special movements that occur at specific joints, and we will talk about those with the individual joints. One point I want to get across before we finish here is that rarely does a total action event just involve one type of these movements that we talked about. Most activities will involve more than one type or numerous types of movements, if not all of the ones we described. So sometimes it seems as if we are talking about these movements in a vacuum. But think about walking or swimming or climbing. You're not just flexing the whole time to make that activity happen. You're flexing, you're extending, you're abducting, abducting and adducting, you're rotating. So oftentimes action events will be a complex of all the movements that we just discussed, or many of them. All right, let's review a concept together here. The question is, movement away from the midline in the frontal or coronal plane is which type of angular movement? Abduction, adduction, circumduction, extension, or flexion? So in the stem, I am honing in on away from the midline as well as the frontal or coronal plane. Those two are pretty descriptive of one of these movements that we have down here, which hopefully you are thinking that is abduction. Okay, I think adduction is moving back towards the midline, adding back towards the midline. So even though this also occurs in the frontal plane. So abduction is the correct answer. Yay, great job all. Make sure you go back and answer those learning objective questions that we have on that second slide based on the concepts we just discussed. And if you have any questions or you can't fully answer one of those questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you for your time and attention, and have a great rest of your day.